Hello and welcome back to the Little Scale Cars YouTube channel. Today in the review box we have the Porsche 911 Carrera RS 2.7 from Hot Wheels. This is a new casting for 2023, debuted in what, E-Case maybe? I don't remember. Let's go ahead and take a deep dive into this one and see if it is worth adding to your collection. So let's go ahead and get started with our casting as usual. Just taking a quick look at it, our proportions all look very good. We'll go ahead and put the real life car up in the top right corner there. And as we can see, they do mix very well, but the body and the base are actually two separate bits. So the base is plastic and it reaches up into these bumpers up here and the bumpers back here. And even though they do blend very well with the body, it is two separate pieces, but it really looks good. It's a testament that those two can look so good together, despite one being very glossy finished and one not so much. Still look really nice. Moving in, that is pretty much it as far as the plastic. The rest of it is almost entirely die-cast. We do get some little lights or something up here. That is a piece of the window, and then the taillights are also a piece of the window. All of your body lines casted in nicely, doors, door handles. We do have a singular mirror on one side. All these hood lines looking good up front. Down to the rear section, these like vented areas along with a spoiler looking great. On the whole, the casting itself is pretty small, which is actually pretty nice, I feel like, 'cause this car in real life was pretty small, so it really feels good in the hands and looks good with the rest of the collection at its size as well. Moving into our paint and deco, we've got just this nice clean and simple white color, which looks really good. And the accent colors are all blue on this one. We've got some on the back there for Porsche and then Carrera down the side. Very simple, but it does look really, really good overall. It's definitely realistic. This is a color that you could get this car in, color combo I should say. Or it's at least close enough. It's a homage, you know? So for a mainline, it looks pretty nice. That's really all there is to say with the paint and deco. For the details, this being a Hot Wheels mainline, we're not going to get crazy amounts of details other than what's just normally casted in, which we've already covered. Let me get that fuzzy thing off of there. So we do get a Porsche logo tampoed on up front, which looks really nice. We do get our headlights tampoed on. These headlights being tampos does mean that there is always a possibility that we could not get those if they decide to get a little wild with some of the other tampo work on the sides. But for now, we have them. We do get little plastic, whatever these were. These were headlights, I assume, or something, that are a piece of the window we talked about earlier. If we come down to the back here, we get taillights, also a piece of the window. We get exhaust and everything all mounted into the base. The base has some fairly good amounts of detail, but on the whole, not crazy amounts of detail for it just being a mainline, but that is pretty much what you expect. Moving into our roll test, it being a mainline does roll. It rolls extremely well. It weighs in at 27.4 grams, which is pretty light, but it is a small casting as well, so it overall fits pretty nicely. Pros and cons time, getting started with our pros. I just think that this is probably the best way to have released this casting for its first release. Just keep it clean, simple, and looking good, and that's exactly what they've done with this. And I would overall say that from a mainline that you're paying like, what, $1.25 for, this is pretty much perfect. It's got just about everything you could really want it to have. For our cons, there's really only one, and I would normally not talk about it too much, but if you can see, my sides do have a little bit of orange peel to that paint. It's a lot more noticeable on this side. Now, this is a pretty common thing. I do have, I think, 2 or 3 of these now, and all of them have the orange paint, orange kind of peel paint on them. So I'm sure it is possible to find one without that, so just keep your eyes open for that when you are getting this one. For some quick size comparisons, here we have it with some other Porsches you might have in your collection, with the Maisto Porsche 356 convertible and the recently reviewed Porsche 910 from Matchbox. And for some size comparisons with other Porsche 911s, here we have it with the Hot Wheels Porsche 911 GT3 and the Porsche 911 GT2 RS from Mini GT. And finally, really quickly here we have it with the old Porsche 911 Carrera casting from Hot Wheels / Corgi. It is a Corgi casting adopted by Hot Wheels. I believe this is supposed to represent the same exact car. I'm not 100% certain of that, but I believe that is the case. So let's take a glance at the two. So now it is time to give my overall final thoughts. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 9.2 out of 10. So as you know, how much I'm hyped for a model really plays a big part into the overall score at the end, because it's kind of like my expectations versus what we got. So my hype level for this one was not all that high. It's just not a car that I get crazy excited for. But in the end, the execution of it is above what I wanted, honestly, above what I even expected. So I just think for that, the execution was fantastic. The overall size of it came out really nice. There is those few little paint hiccups, but overall, this is a casting I can see myself grabbing maybe 3 or 4 versions of instead of just 1 or 2. And as a whole, I would say it's definitely worth adding to your collection, even if you're not the biggest Porsche fan. And if you are a big Porsche fan, you need this one in your collection. It is basically what I would say a perfect mainline. You get everything you could really ask for from a mainline and maybe just a little bit more. And that is going to do it for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Leave a comment telling me what your thoughts are on this particular model. And subscribe if you have not done so already. And I will see you in the next video.